In this video, I'm going to show you how to view images in Neovim and also paste images the same way you do in other applications like Obsidian. As you can see here, I'm going to switch to Obsidian. I have some images here. I can view the images and paste them, and that's what we want to do in Neovim. I'm going to show you a quick demo. I have a file here with some images. Let me switch to it right now. Here at the bottom of this file, I have some images. Notice the format is .webp. I configured the plugin so that it loads the images only when I hover over them, but that's just a personal preference. If you want to configure it to load all the images when you open a file, you can do that as well. But I prefer it to do it this way because it works better for me. So I'm gonna go over each one of the images. Here's the first one. So as you can see, there's an overlap there on the image name and the image itself. That's just because I changed the resolution on my monitor for the video, but if I switch it back to my normal resolution, it works fine. The next image is an image loaded from a URL. Okay, the rest of them, the images that you see on the top are local, but this one at the bottom is loaded from a URL. You can see that on the right-hand side. So now I'm going to show you how to paste images in Neovim. First, I'm gonna take a screenshot and I'm gonna paste that in this file. Let me switch to this other screen. Take a screenshot, I already did. I'm gonna switch back to the file. I'm gonna paste the image here. The keymap that I configure to paste images is Control-A. So if I hit that, pastes the image. This is an image with transparency. I'm going to paste another image right now. Under here, I'm gonna go to my browser. Just gonna take a screenshot of this. Now I'm going to paste it back in the file. I configured some keymaps. I'm gonna share them later in the video, but you can see them here. Leader.io opens the image in the preview app. If opens the image in Finder. ID deletes the image. You need to have this installed. With IR, you can refresh the images, and with IC, you can clear all the images. So let me show that to you real quick. I want to open this image in preview. So I'm going to hit leader.io, and it opens it there. I'm going to open one of the ones that I just created, which are here at the bottom. Leader.io. It also opens it in preview. If I want to see these images in Finder, I configure the other keymap, leader.if, opens the directory. These are the last two images that I pasted right now. As you can tell here, the size 128 kilobytes, and this other one 122 kilobytes. I'm gonna show you how to compress the images when you save them, and also how to save them in different formats. Notice that these are webp, these are avif. These are the two that I just pasted right now into the file. I'm gonna show you how I delete images as well. I wanna delete this one. Leader image delete. A pop-up shows up. I'm just gonna type yes. And it shows me here that the image was deleted from disk. Gonna go back to Finder. You're gonna see that the image is gone. It's not there anymore. Going to delete the other one. Just gonna delete this line. This is the other image. Leader ID. Yes. Going to delete it. Gonna delete this line too. Just to clean the file. Okay, so both images are deleted. If you come back here, you notice that both of them are gone. If I want to open a file in the web browser, something similar to Obsidian, just to read the file and look at all the images, I use the Markdown Preview plugin. This plugin comes already installed with Neovim by default using this keymap, but I switched it to leader MP. So I'm gonna hit that right now, and it's gonna open the file in the preview app, leader MP. And I can use this to read the file, see all the images. It's way smoother. If I need to print it as well, I can do it from here. You can switch it to dark mode or light mode, depending on how you prefer it, up to you. But this is pretty useful in case you want to read a file or print it. All of these keymaps and my plugin configurations can be found in my dot files. They're here. Let me open that. And if you scroll down to the image section, this is where they are. So this is where you will be able to find the keymaps. Here's the keymap for pasting the images. These are the different things I do. Open the image in the preview app. This is for macOS. So if you're using Linux, just make sure to update them so they work properly. This is another keymap if you want to open the image in Finder, which we did. Delete the image. This uses the trash app. And some other ones here at the bottom if you want to refresh the images or clear the images. Okay, so that's enough with the demo. Let's go back to the file and I'm going to show you how to configure all of this. Okay, so here you can see the requirements. I'm using macOS, but this also works for Linux. So this guide is going to give you the idea on what needs to be done, but just make sure you install the dependencies needed for your Linux distribution. Now, the plugins that we're going to be using are listed here. One of them is image.nvim. This is the one that allows us to view images. And the other one is image-clip.nvim. That one is used to paste images in Neovim. I'm going to go to the repos right now. Here's one of them. If you like it, make sure to star it. And here's the other plugin. Also, if you like this one, make sure to star it. Now, the guide that I'm following is going to be up in my blog, which is here. I don't have it there yet, but once the video is uploaded, you will be able to find it there. Here is what it's going to look like. I have it here, but I haven't pushed it up yet. So everything that I'm following is going to be listed here. So you just can copy and paste all of the commands. If you like this video, please give it a like. Also add some comments. This helps me a lot because YouTube shows the video to more people. And if you like my channel, you can also subscribe. So first, we will go over the dependencies. The first one is Homebrew. We're going to be using Homebrew to install all the packages needed. If you don't have it installed, I have a video on what Homebrew is, how to install it, and all the details. And it's going to be listed here. So once we have Brew installed, we will need to install Kitty. Kitty is just a terminal emulator. I had been using Alacrity for quite some time now, but as far as I understand and as far as I know, you cannot view images in Alacrity. I don't want to find out, so I'm just going to go with Kitty for now. I haven't tried other terminals. I'm not sure if you can use other ones. I don't use any of the built-in stuff that Kitty comes with, like tabs, layouts. I don't know what else it has. I just use it as a terminal. I don't want to have any dependencies to Kitty in case I want to switch to another terminal emulator in the future. Instead of tabs and all that, I use TMUX to navigate between sessions, windows, and panes. If you don't know what TMUX is, I have a detailed video in which I go over what it is, how to configure it, how it works, what it's used for. So now let's install Kitty. We're just going to copy all of these commands. As you can tell here, this is going to install Kitty. This is going to install the fonts that I use. And this is also going to download the Kitty themes and put them in the directory where my configuration is going to look for them. I'm also going to share you where my Kitty configuration is in case that it's your first time using Kitty and you want to have something to start with. So first, just make sure you copy all these commands and paste them in your terminal. I'm gonna paste them here. I already have everything installed, so nothing is gonna happen. But if you don't have these things installed, it's just going to install them. As you can tell here, I just get these warning messages because the latest version is already installed for Kitty and for my fonts. And also this other error because I already had the files, but don't worry about it. If you want to use my Kitty settings, you can find all of that in my dot files. I'm going to go there right now. So you just copy all of them. You just copy this and paste it in your Kitty configuration file, which is here. You can also clone my dotfiles-latest repo and get all the configuration from there, including Neovim, Kitty, webp, everything else. If you don't know what dotfiles are, I have a video, you can watch that here. And if you like my dotfiles repo or you find it useful, you can also start it. Okay, so now that you have Kitty installed, open Kitty and you can continue there. As you can see, I am already using Kitty. Now we're going to install the rest of the dependencies. The first one is ImageMagick. This is just a set of tools that we use to create, edit, or convert images. Here's the command to install it. Just copy the command, go to your terminal, paste it. I already have it installed, as you can see here. To confirm that it was installed, you can run this command. And here is the version that I'm running. Now this is really important. Make sure that you run this command because there are some dependencies that are not installed. So you need to make sure that they're installed. And you need to see this little check mark next to each one of the dependencies. Notice that I have everything green, but the first time I installed this package, this dependency was not installed. So I was not able to view images. I didn't know why. In case you see a red X here, just install that dependency using brew. I have the command here in the guide. Down here, package config. I'm just gonna run it. I already have it installed, so nothing's gonna happen. But here's the command to install this dependency, package config. Now moving on to the next dependency, we need to have Lua installed. Notice that I already have it installed. I'm gonna run the command here. If you don't have it installed, just make sure you install it with this command. Now moving on to the next one, we need to have curl installed. This is if you want to view remote images. And curl already comes installed in macOS by default. So if you run this command, you'll be able to see the version. If you don't have it installed, just install it with brew as well. If you're using TMUX, there are some settings that you need to add. I have them listed here. I'm going to copy this and go to that file. It's here, TMUX configuration file. I have it at the top of the file. Here's what you need to paste. After pasting that, you need to reload your TMUX configuration. I have a command to reload with R. You can reload it from any session, from any TMUX session. So I'm back in this file. I'm going to reload the TMUX configuration by hitting Ctrl+V-R. And you're gonna see here configuration reloaded at the top. Let me hit it again. Configuration reloaded. This is because of this message that I configured here, my TMUX configuration. That's what it shows. So again, if you don't know what TMUX is, if you wanna learn how to use it, I have a video. I list it here again. But what basically TMUX allows me to do is to switch between sessions easily. Let me show you the sessions that I have open right now. This is the file that we're going through. This is my dotfiles-latest repo. This is my home directory. This is the test file that I had open. So I can switch between them really easily. So that's what I use TMUX for. There's a TMUX caveat that you need to be aware of. Let me open the test file so that I can show you. I'm gonna hover over an image to show it. Okay, so if I switch to another TMUX session, the image is gonna show there. As you can see here, I'm back on my file, but the image is still showing there. This is something known. So before you switch to another session, just move to a line where there is no image and it doesn't happen. Or if you switch to a session, like in this specific case, I configure the mapping leader IC so you can clear the image. The image.nvim plugin has a Discord channel in case you have questions. I already asked about this, but if you want to go to Discord, you can find it here on the on the main repo. Here's the link to the Discord channel. Now I'm going to show you how to install this plugin, the one that allows you to view images. I'm using the lazivim.org distro. Already comes with a lot of plugins and settings by default. I like it a lot. So if you want to use that as a starting point, just letting you know. So the configuration for this plugin, my configuration is found in my .files. Let me go there. So all you need to do is just copy all of this and just configure it the same way you configure any other Neovim plugin. So you just can copy it, paste it in your Neovim settings, and it's going to install what's needed. As you can see here, this configuration is going to install two different plugins, luarocks, and it's also going to install image.nvim. We installed this because there's a dependency that we need, which is Magick. So that is installed by this plugin. So make sure that you add this, don't skip this part. And this is the plugin itself with its configuration. Here are all the settings. I left some comments in there of the things that I changed. And here are some other comments as well at the bottom. If after installing all the dependencies, you still cannot see images in Neovim, you can try reinstalling luarocks. So the way that I do it, since I use lazivim, I just type lazy. I find the plugin here. It's here. And I just press an X. It's going to uninstall it. Then I just close and reopen Neovim. That should fix any remaining issues that you could have. Now I'm just going to quickly go over the image.nvim settings. Okay, I'm going to open that file. I have it here, image.nvim. Notice that this is just a file in my plugins directory. Okay, I'm using lazivim. And here is image.nvim. This is what you have to do. Just copy the code that I shared and paste it all here. Okay, here's the two plugins that I mentioned that will get installed. And here are the settings that I changed. This download remote images is if you want to view images from a URL. If you don't want that, just set this to false. Other setting that I changed is this, only render image at cursor. If you don't want that, set that to false as well. I set it to true because files were a little bit laggy. And when you open a new file, it takes a few seconds to render all the images. Some other settings that I changed are here at the bottom. HTML, I set this to true, and CSS sets this to true. You can do this if you want to render images in HTML files. I have an example here. Let me go to a file. Here. Notice that I have an HTML file here. I have an image, so it renders it. So that's because of this. That's because of this setting, because this is set to true. So you can change it to your liking. Something else that you might want to change here is the size of the image. I'm gonna set it to 20 so you can see the difference. I'm gonna quit this file and reopen it, and it's gonna be way smaller. As you can see here, I prefer to set it to 40, so I'm gonna change that. Reopen the file. Now it's set to 40. The rest, I just left them at their defaults, but you can go over the documentation and see if there's any other settings that you want to change. Now I'm gonna go back to the guide. And now that we can see images in Neovim, I'm gonna show you how to paste images. It's the other plugin that we're gonna be using, image-clip.nvim. So we need to install its dependencies. One of them is ImageMagick, which we already installed because the other plugin also uses ImageMagick. The other dependency is pngpaste. This is for macOS. It's listed as optional, but I installed it, so make sure you install it as well. I already have it installed, as you can see here. It's already installed and up to date. And now we need to install the plugin the same way that we installed the other plugin. It's in my .files. Let me go there real quick. Here's the configuration for that plugin. Here's my configuration. You can just copy this and paste it in your Neovim. I'm just going to show you real quick. What settings I have configured for that plugin. I open that plugin right now. It's here, image-clip.nvim. As you can see here, it's just another file in my plugins configuration. Here are the settings that I changed, and there's an explanation of what each setting means here at the top. So this absolute path, here's an example, as you can see here, of what it would look like if you set it to true. But if you set it to false, this is what it looks like. I also set this to true. You can read here why I did that. This is another setting that I changed. I don't want to have all of the images in a specific directory, but I want to have the images in the same directory that the file is. That directory is going to have the name of the file, and it's going to end with -img. Let me go to Finder so you can see what I mean. This is the name of the file that we were testing. This is the name of the directory, test images-img. This directory is created automatically. You don't need to do anything. So when you paste an image, it's going to create the directory if it does not exist. I also set this to false. I don't want to give my images a name. I just wanted to show the date and time. But you can set it to true and you're going to get a prompt that asks you for the image name. I'm going to show you what that looks in a little bit. Here you can also set up the extension and the process command in case you want to convert the image. Make sure you do it this way. If you don't add this part at the end of the command, the conversion is not going to take place properly and your file sizes will be big. So I have different options here, webp, png, jpg. I have some other options here at the bottom that you can go over. This template, I left some options here as well. This is how it looks on your file. Let me go back to the test file. Notice here the name, there's square brackets, and there's the parentheses. So here's the name of the file, and here's the path. This is what configures that. Instead, if you want to have just something static configured there, like this, would set it to just image, wouldn't be dynamic, the name, in this field. So when you paste an image, your cursor would jump there so you can type whatever alternative text you want. And this is just the default keymap. I'm not sure if I changed that. I don't remember what the default one is, but you can change that to your liking here. So now let me go back to the guide. We already went over this at the beginning of the video where I showed you how these keymaps work, if, id. I'm going to show you how you can save images with different formats. So let's go back to my test file. Let's go back here. I'm gonna paste here an image with transparency in the webp format, so you can compare the different sizes. Let's paste this image first. Let me go back here. I'm gonna clear this. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. I'm gonna go back to my file, Control A to paste the image. avif is the format that we have configured as of now. Let's go back to Finder, letter if. And it shows me the size of the image here, 171 kilobytes. Now let's say that we want to save the image in a different format. Let's go back. I'm going to comment these two lines, and I'm going to uncomment the webp ones. Gonna save. I just saved the settings. Gonna switch back to my test file. Reopen it so that the changes are applied. And I'm gonna paste the screenshot again, but this time in the webp format. Let me bring up the screenshot again. I have the image here. Just gonna copy it and paste. As you can tell, the extension of the file now is webp. If we go to Finder, here is the image. Notice that the size is different. The avif is 171. This one is 150. But you will be able to see a difference in the quality of the image. Here's the avif. Here is the webp. You may not see this in the video, but the text looks good. this looks a little bit worse on the webp image. avif looks quite nicer, but it's up to you. You can choose between any format that you want. I'm just showing you what the differences are. Now let's save another image in a different format. I'm gonna use here JPEG. Gonna comment this, and JPEG is here. Gonna go back to my file. Just reopen the file. Gonna copy the image again, the same one. Control A to paste it. Here's the image in the JPEG format. I'm gonna paste another image here at the bottom, but this time with the PNG format so you can see the difference in size. PNG. Let's go back to the file. Where's PNG? I changed it to PNG. If you notice, all of them have the quality set to the same, 75, but that's up to you. You can change it to whatever you want. Let me go back to the file and paste it as a PNG image. I'm gonna close and reopen the file. I'm gonna copy the image, Command C. Then I'm gonna paste it here with Control A. And as you can tell, is that PNG. Let me go back to Finder and I'm gonna show you the difference in size. So here's avif, 171, has the best quality. 150 webp, JPG is bigger, 267 for the same image. But now notice this, PNG is 4 megs. So that's why I'm using avif, so that my images are smaller. And the last thing that I wanna show you is how to paste an image with a custom name. Let me go back to my config. I'm gonna switch back to avif. And I'm gonna set the prompt for file name to true. Let me go back to my file. Reopened it. Gonna paste the same image. Just gonna copy it and Control A to paste it. Notice that it asks for the file name. Do not enter any spaces. You can use dashes, and do not enter the extension. I'm just gonna give it a test name. Hit enter. And the image is gonna have that specific name. Let me go back to Finder so you can see that. Here's the last image that we pasted. The extension was added automatically, and this is the name that we configured. The name is also shown here. So it's up to you. I don't want to be typing the names for each one of the images. So that's why I set this to false. So that's it for this video. Again, if you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Add any comments. This is going to help me so YouTube shows the video to more people. And if you like the channel, you want to see me making more videos, just make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments as well. I'll see you in the next video.